Let me tell you that. They're deranged here tonight. That's very good for my ego. Now, how about something for my libido? I'm a Port Low in my libido this week. I'm Johnny Carson, the Smith Barney of comedy. I earn my laughs the old-fashioned way. I earn them. This is the, Isn't it funny how an ovation dies into nothingness? Anyway, this is the Tonight Show, the 60-minute program that comes into your bedroom during foreplay. And what you, And what you do during Tom Snyder is his problem. I'm glad you're in a good mood. I hate to talk about audiences who were here the night before. But last night we had what and I hate to use this word, lowbrow.
Yeah.
It is not easy to stand out here and get laughs when you look out and you see an old lady rotating her dress shields. Rim. No, the monologue went so poorly last night, the FBI was going to give me a new identity and relocate me in another state. Take me out. Have them stand by tonight also. You want to have some fun after the show?
Yeah.
I say what we do. Let's all go down to the phone company and shoot the guy who says you can really save money on your phone bill by looking the number up yourself. There's some good news and bad news for you tonight. The good news is that President-elect Reagan says he's going to reduce government waste, cut federal spending, lower inflation, raise defense spending, and cut the federal budget. Now, the bad news is he can't do it unless he's booked on Fantasy Island. You know, when Reagan was governor of California, they called him a 9-to-5 governor. Apparently, he feels it's better to delegate authority and kind of operate the country like a corporation. Let's just hope it's not Chrysler. Can you imagine a 9-to-5 president? Now, what that means is, the Russians call after 5 on the hotline. They get a recording that says, "Hi, this is Ronnie. Sorry, I'm not here right now. But if you're declaring war, please wait for the beep." How many of you were in the stock market and sold yesterday? Did you see the stock market? I guess, what's the name of the fellow that... Granville. Apparently has a list of customers, and he told them the day before yesterday to sell everything, and the stock market dropped about 24 points yesterday, and I don't have him as a broker. I have a great broker. E.F. Schneer. E.F. Schneer put my life savings into Gooberans. No, they're like Krugerrands, but they're Gooberans. They're filled with chocolate, and they have a likeness of Goober from Hee-Haw on them. They're called Gooberans, yeah. Schneer called me today, as a matter of fact, and they said, "Don't worry, Johnny, your money is safe in blue chips." And I said, "Stocks?" And they said, "No, we pick them up frozen in cow pastures in Montana." Blue chips. They make great paperweights. Don't knock it. Did you see this? President Carter has about, what, another 16 days or 15 days as president. And today he is... You're cruel. Today he was seeking a 22% pay raise for high-level federal officials, including the cabinet and the Congress, and including a 22% pay raise for his own pension. Absolutely. I think Carter's giving us the January surprise we were looking for in October. Took him 4 years, but the president finally came up with some legislation that Congress agrees with. 22%. Governor Brown was in the news. Our Governor Jerry Brown out here gave the State of the State address today in Sacramento, and Governor Brown said, I quote, "California has gotten itself out of a bad space and some good karma is coming down." And during the speech, Jerry Brown had a double-talk interpreter for the mellow-minded. You don't hear much about our lieutenant governor these days, do you? We have Lieutenant Governor Mike Curb out here. Reason you don't, because Jerry Brown is in the state. When he's out of the state, Curb takes over. Curb hasn't been doing too much lately. What he's trying to do, he's trying to sell President Reagan's home in Pacific Palisades to Debbie Boone. See, he used to be in the record business and handled... Wow. What?
Reaching.
That's a reacher, isn't it? Yeah. We got a good show tonight. Yes, we do. Bum Phillips is with us tonight.
Right.
From Houston Oilers. Bum, as you know, was let go by Houston, but he's gotten 2 job offers. One to coach New Orleans Saints or become the head of programming at NBC. And McLean Stevenson is on the show tonight. Who recently married a lovely girl on our staff here on the Tonight Show, Ginny Fosdick. And Ginny did not know it, but she was shocked. She found out today that they were really married by Tim Conway in disguise. So we're not sure if the... You don't put your horns up yet. I'm not finished.
No, yes,
you are.
And we have a fine actor, James Wood, is with us tonight.
Right.
Woods and the mighty Carson Tonight player. But first, do I do this first or do I?
No, we're waiting for you.
I just don't feel it tonight.
Don't do it.
You've got to do it.
Why?
Well, because America is waiting for it.
Plus, it's money.
Tonight, we'd like to welcome the new Vic Roller with the tough point. It lets you go with the flow. Okay, my first guest tonight. Later on, Bum Phillips, James Woods. Later on, the mighty Carson Art players are going to present a spokesman for the insurance companies of America on the show. But my first guest is McLean Stevenson, and as I mentioned, only about, a month ago, he, this would mark his wedding anniversary. Married Ginny Fosdick of our staff, who's a lovely gal. Would you welcome McLean Stevenson?
Yeah,
Son of a gun, you newlywed, you?
Yeah, and they said it wouldn't work.
Yeah. You
1
still
month,
have that flush look of a happy girl.
Of a new group? I got to tell you something. I'm going to be very candid. I have never been as nervous in my life as I am right now. Beneath this incredibly handsome, otherwise casual facade, there lurks a huge bowl of Jell-O.
Why tonight?
Well, I've never done this show when I was married.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Now, it's like if I was a Roto-Rooter man and got a good shot on the show for whatever reason, right? And just got married, I doubt seriously that my bride would hop in the truck with the snake and the plumber's helper and come along.
That's true.
And I not only married a lady who works for you, who I can't get to bed at the 10 o'clock news, must wait up and re-see the show again at 11:30.
Aha.
But she's also standing 15 feet away. And it's like...
There she is. That's Ginny right over there.
Yeah, I want to be very good for her. You know, I don't want to come out here and be a silly buffoon person.
In other words, you are...
I'm trying to act very grown up, and it's killing me.
I see.
I just want to go, I don't wear shorts anymore, and waka, waka, waka.
You want to be real sophisticated and smooth now that you're a married person.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's nice. She's a nice gal.
Do you recognize the suit and tie?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask you, Ed. I asked John.
I recognized it.
Well, Ed did.
Well, I have seen that before, haven't I?
Yes. Well, more than once, but one particular time. The night you introduced Ginny
Introduced
and I.
the two of them.
Yeah, actually, it's the same suit, same tie, and the
Well,
same shirt.
you old romantic guy, you.
Aren't I something? And the same penny loafers.
You're wearing your suit.
Yes, my suit.
Yeah. You know, if, I don't know whether you know this or not, because she is with the staff, that I get your firstborn.
No, I didn't know that.
Well,
Certainly
now-
looking forward to that, though, at my age.
Oh, of course you
Be
are.
87 years old playing catch with a 12-year-old kid at your house.
Now, you've been single for quite a while, and there are adjustments when you get married. You get used to a certain standard of living. You kind of come and go as you want to, and all of a sudden now you're married. Have you made those little adjustments that one must make when one gets married?
I feel like I'm
I mean,
talking
you
to
don't-
my dad or
What I'm
something.
saying is, what I'm saying is, you don't go trolling in the bars anymore.
No.
You're not going, hi, how are you?
No, certainly, and I thank heaven those days are over. Yeah, there are some adjustments, although I don't think... Ginny and I have never really... There's no problems. She's quite tall,
But you're,
which means that we can drive each other's car without having to adjust the rearview mirror or the seat. That counts for a lot, I
good
think, in a
advantage.
marriage.
Good advantage.
But I don't... Well, she snores, which drives me nuts. I have...
Do you
these
sound
are
like you're on
things-
the Newlywed Game all of a sudden? I saw that show last night. I went by it, and I couldn't get by the channel quick enough, and I happened to see the Newlywed Game. Now, I don't know where they get these cretins who go on that show. They will say anything about their spouse, the most embarrassing thing in front of television.
Yeah.
You know, to win a set of luggage. Part of your body do you admire best about Fred? And the MC goes, and she holds up her placard and says, his knees. And he goes, my knees. I mean, these are really brilliant people they got there. How do you sing that? But that's what I feel like all of a
I
sudden.
know. Well, there was a time in my
You
life...
just told her she snores.
I know, and I feel embarrassed, but I do hope I get the luggage. I see. Well, just go to the commercial.
Okay,
or
I'll go to
something,
the
and try
commercial.
patch
We'll do a
this up.
commercial, and he'll calm down, folks, and we'll come back to this married fellow in a moment. We're talking with the newlywed McLean Stevenson from Los Angeles. Yes. No, I'm kidding you about this, but I know what you're going through. Lots of things to do now.
Oh, I'm going through great
You
stuff.
were living
I
in what,
love
a
this
little
life.
apartment or a house, or now do you have to...
Oh, boy.
Relocate?
That's, okay. When, about 4 months before Ginny and I got married, I
Right.
bought a house.
Good.
Yeah, sort of a country-type house out in the country, and not terribly big, and in need of some repair and a lot of decorating. But I figured between the swap meet and Goodwill, I could handle it.
Was that one of those houses where you read the ads that says, great house for man handy with tools?
Yeah, right. It was...
You know you're in trouble.
When I drove up with the blue-haired lady with the big Cadillac with the gardenia and the aerial, the real estate lady, she said, this one's got real curb appeal, but it's a fixer-upper.
A fixer-upper,
Yeah.
I said.
So I paid what I thought was a lot of money for it, and I planned to sink close to $5,000 into the sucker fixing it up. Yeah, I was going to do a lot.
Really renovated, huh?
Yeah, really go through it from top to bottom. No, I was just going to put some shag rugs and some, cardboard closets up and start living. And I kept the apartment, thank God, so that I'd have a place to work out of, as they say, while they were doing the renovating.
Uh-huh.
And then Ginny and I ran away and got married. And Ginny had just bought a condominium, which is a little bit, well, it's a good investment. It's a little bit like living in a granola box. It's kind of filled with a lot of fruits and nuts, and the rest are flakes.
So you didn't cotton to that, huh?
That's certainly not an indictment of my bride. It
I
just
know, of
happens to
course.
be one of those West Los Angeles places that they, unbeknownst to the people living in it, converted it one night from apartments to condominiums.
You woke
and
up the next morning and you were condominium.
there you are. So we are actually living in the condo, as they say. And I'm still using my office as a closet. We have the longest walk-in closet, it being 2.5 miles away from where she lives. A little awkward in the morning to run down in your jockey shorts to find a pair of pants to wear,
Yes,
but
but-
we'll work it out. The house we are going to redo. I had I had really planned. Have you flown recently?
Well,
I mean, it does have something to do with what I'm saying, so I'll
yes,
get on
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
I can remember on the days
You want to know exactly when I flew? Is that important?
No.
Yeah.
But I can remember flying when you get a little throw-up bag and a little brochure that you could buy a rubber balloon 747 and luggage tags, and that's all. Now you can decorate your home with the catalog they put in there.
Right.
Have you seen that?
On the airlines, you mean?
Yeah. With the furniture and stuff.
Right.
I plan to order some of that kind of stuff.
Oh, from the airline catalog.
So I figured for about $5,000 I'd have this thing looking real good. Then I took Ginny up there, my bride, and we're probably going to put close to $500,000 in that sucker. I had
Freshen the house up.
Yeah, just freshened up a touch here and there. I was going to have a very small kitchen. The kitchen now, when we're through with it, will be as large as the house, so we will be adding on, as they say.
That's an important part of the home, is the kitchen.
Well, it's interesting. When I was single, the guy that I had an architect who had, he wasn't full-fledged. He'd been at, I think, Caltech nights for 3 weeks. I had a pickup truck and a slide rule, and so I had complete confidence in his ability. He was just going to put some walk-in closets in. And I fired him immediately because he thought it would be foolish to spend more than $10,000. We're really going to do a job up there.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah, it should be ready about 84.
It's 84. Are you good at those things around the house? I mean...
Not really. You mean, am I a good fixer-upper?
Yeah,
I love to try, but I will accomplish what I set out to do, but I will screw up everything else so bad that a simple job like redoing a light switch will end up costing me $1,500 because I've torn the entire wall out.
Better to pay somebody and watch them do that because they do it skillfully.
It's funny to watch these guys do their work. We have 35 Hispanic-speaking people who really do work.
Right.
And then the foreman, and he has 4 guys that oversee all the stuff. Every time I drive up there, they're playing cards or reading the sports page. And the minute they hear my car, which has a bad muffler about a block down the street, they hear this, and I'm shifting gears in my little car.
They're busy when you arrive, eh?
The nails are really flying, and those suckers are just wailing away. And the other day, I drove down, got out of the car, walked back, and they were all playing cards.
Now,
What the heck? It's only $55 an hour each.
Now you eloped, therefore you missed the usual kind of bridal parties and things that are held. So this could leave you rather short of, say, cups and saucers. Now, being a bachelor, and having been a bachelor at times in my life.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't.
Several times in my life. Very often you do not end up with the select pieces of cookware.
Yes.
When the final fifth is made, you get the colander, and a spatula that looks as bent out of shape. And you navigate with that stuff for about 6 months until you lock onto some girl who starts bringing stuff to your house. That's true. Anybody's been through that. You end up with some mangled knives and forks, that are falling into the garbage disposal.
Yeah. I got custody of an electric blanket with no cord, 2 pieces of enamel cookware, and a complete set of Melmac.
Melmac is nice, though.
Yeah, it is.
I hope you're real happy.
I am. I'm delightfully happy. And I thank you for introducing us. By the way, you were responsible for
that night.
And we will send you the first board.
We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back after this. Stay where you are.
The insurance industry is a frequent target of criticism because of what is seen as bureaucratic inefficiency, a hard-nosed attitude of local agents whenever policyholders inquire about a claim. The Tonight Show has invited a representative of the insurance industry to respond to these charges and to explain company procedures. We switch you now live to the headquarters of the Insurance Industry of America and its spokesman, G. Walter Schneer.
How do you do? I'm the official spokesman for the National Organization of Insurance Companies. That, of course, stands for Salesman for Health, Auto, Fire, and Theft, or as we call it, SHAFT. As you can see here, our industry symbol is an eagle. And you know what he's clutching in his mighty talons? You. And if you've had any dealings with us, you know where he's clutching you. Now, many people say we're greedy, unscrupulous, incompetent, and uncaring. Well, I'm proud to say tonight that we're all of those things and more. Let's face it, you can't make any money by giving it away. Just look around. Who owns the tallest buildings in every major city? It ain't Mother Teresa. Often people ask me to translate insurance terminology. They say, Mr. Schneer, what's the difference between assigned risk, whole life, double indemnity, and no-fault decreasing term liability? Let me put it this way. We don't know. Now, much of your insurance man's busy day is spent answering personal correspondence with policyholders and trying to meet their individual needs. For example, here's a letter right in front of me from a 91-year-old lady from Lake Delco, Florida, who says she has a whole life policy. She's paid $58.19 a month, every month, since March of 1909. Now she wants to redeem her policy for its cash value. That's a smart move. Our payment department has computed the cash value of her policy, and I'm going to send it out to her today. Right there. Remember, insurance is people. If you sign with us, you'll get our good hands. And remember, even when we cancel you, you'll still get our good finger. Now, some of our detractors have charged that we use the requirement of a physical examination as a means of screening out senior citizens from purchasing life insurance because we consider them poor risks. Now, that's a misconception. Naturally, we require a minimal standard physical examination. As a matter of fact, right back here, we have an 87-year-old gentleman who's taking one of our physicals right now. There he is. Now, he does another 32 miles, and we might just give you a policy. Excuse me just a minute. Well, it looks like he's beneficiary city, as we say in the insurance game. That's tough luck. Another 31 and a half more miles, and he would have had our policy. At poor risk rates, of course. Now, you may be wondering, and again, you may not, but you may be wondering, what happens if you get in an automobile accident? How do we go about settling your claim? Well, let's take a look here at our claims adjustment simulator, and we'll reenact an actual case from our file. Now, Mr. Lyle Cernute of New Voyer, Pennsylvania, signed up for our blue ribbon coverage. That includes collision, theft, uninsured motorist, and medical. What we in the insurance field call the works. Now, Mr. Cernute never had an accident, not even a parking ticket. One day he was motoring down the street here, came to an intersection, came to a complete stop. At the stop sign, Mr. Cernute looked both ways. Now, he is struck by a disabled... He's struck by a disabled 747. Now, what did we pay to this man? Not a penny. You see, Mr. Cernute made one mistake. He didn't buy flight insurance. Sounds like our hotline insurance. Hello, if you got a piece of the rock... slow down. You say you're calling from clear across the country in Bangor, Maine. Your house is completely engulfed in flames, and your policy was destroyed. What's your name? You don't have to worry, Mr. Robespierre. I think I've got a copy of your policy right here, if you just hang on a second. Robespierre, I think I got some bad news for you. Yeah, seems like a spark from your roof just blew in our office. Burned up your policy. We don't have any record of having any dealings with you at all. Well, I'll let you get back to your garden hose. Right. Ciao. Now, one way... You people in the office here kind of like that. One way we save you money is by investigating insurance frauds. Let me give you an illustration of what I mean. Now, This poor man here is a foreman at one of our leading factories, and he claims, because of an already weakened heart, to have fallen 87 feet. Now, let's test him and see whether his claim is legitimate. Well, now the heartbeat is a little weak. Let's check that out. Yeah! Holy shit! Yeah. Well, it seems that was a legitimate claim. And we would have paid it except for one small thing. That was a suicide. Nobody likes a quitter. You'll have to excuse me. I've got a busy day ahead. I got a lot of policies to counsel. Hope I've been a help to you. My next guest. Thank you, Doc. Well, we're back. My next guest is a very gifted young actor. You've seen in a lot of things. He's soon going to be in 2 major motion pictures, one called Eyewitness and Fast Walking. Would you welcome James Woods? Good to see you again.
It's like a theme show. We all got married recently.
I didn't know that till today.
Yeah.
They said, McLean's on, and I said, yeah, he married Jenny about a month ago. Then they said, you are recently married since we've seen each other.
Yeah,
for 4 months.
Yeah, I can give you a lot of hints. I'm an all-hand at this stuff. I was just talking to Jenny backstage, and she said, look at that ring on you. It's so big. And I said, yeah. I said, she wanted to stick a Michelin tire in there so nobody got any ideas, And she said, I got the same thing, and look at his. Look at this thing. You're kidding me? It's like the dew line.
You both are wearing...
Major wedding rings. Major commitment here.
Oh, when they really want to let people know that you are married,
yeah.
Out comes the large...
They want to keep the rats at bay,
Large band. Has this changed your life a lot?
Yeah, it really has. It's so different from any other experience. I mean, yes. It's a commitment because it's so official in a way, and you find out that, remember all those things your mother used to tell you when you were a kid? Those little things you say, Ma, please, will you? And then you find out it's true. You got to save your money, which I never did, and she was right about that. And if you want to get serious about a woman, spend 3 hours with her in the kitchen, and then you know. You know what I mean? Because you're in a small space with major implements of destruction, and you know what the relationship is about. I said, Ma, how about the bedroom? She says, turn out the lights, get under the sheets. They're all the same, but you get in that kitchen, you know the difference,
That was your mother's advice.
Yeah, well, I think it was my mother, yeah.
Yeah.
Did your mother ever give you any advice? What kind of advice did she ever give you about marriage?
Not really.
No?
Any that I can remember.
Really?
My father-in-law one time said it's very important the night before you go to sleep to kiss each other before you go to sleep. Never go to bed mad.
That's true, actually. It's like
we have not gone to bed in 6 years. And I say I shouldn't have said that either. That's a little humor there. But
you see what happens? You get married, and all of a sudden you think, now I got to watch what I say, because all of a sudden you have. I mean, when you come into this world, you're Irish, you're French, whatever. You get married, all of a sudden you're Sicilian. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden it's like, I got a woman whose integrity I have to respect, and you draw that kind of line, and all of a sudden you become very aware. I mean, you can't come out here and sleaze around. Now the basis of, see, we got a dull show here, because all of a sudden we got all these married guys, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden you have to say, I can't make jokes, and the basis of humor, of course, is total sleazery. So there we're stuck.
Well, you can make jokes if they don't take it too serious. But it's important you don't go to bed mad.
Absolutely.
If you have a fight.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you do.
Well, I think that
Are you quick to anger?
I am. I used to be quick to anger, but what I have found, even in the few months we've been married, and the time we went together before, that what has happened is that when you've made a commitment to the future with someone you love, all of a sudden you think, now, am I going to drag this on for 4 months like I used to, or 8 months, or 4 days, or whatever? Or am I going to say, look, I got a whole lifetime with this person. Why waste the next precious few hours being angry? Because you know what? You're never really that angry about what you think you're angry about. All you have to do is work it out and communicate. And when you communicate, it's terrific. And I found, when I was single, so many people used to give me all these theories about things. All the single guys would say, I can never find a woman, married guys I talk to have been married a long time. I'd say, I don't know why I'm not happy or anything else. And I finally figured out that it's and I hope this doesn't sound too pompous, but it's really, honest to God, right under your nose. It really is.
Yeah.
If you want to know, if I were Robert Blake sitting out here philosophizing, you know what I mean, about things, I would honest to God say you have to turn around, and everybody, there's 60 million people watching the show. There's 30 million to wear the pants in the family, or at least, I don't know.
That's supposed to be out now. You see, nobody's supposed to wear the pants.
Nobody wears. Well, okay, the 30 million wear the jock straps in the family. I just want to say, if you want to be happy, you know, just turn to the one right there, you know, the one you're with, the one you love, that's the one that'll get you through it. And it's amazing the support you can get from somebody you love who's committed to you, and people are avoiding it all the time. They're avoiding the essential issues of life right now. I think we've been, for the past decade, we were so turned around, you know, with everything. And all of a sudden now, you realize that those old values are really going to save us.
You sound like you're coming unglued. You've
I'm totally coming unglued.
You've only been 4 months and you're manic already.
Well, it's like there's this whole new future.
It'll all settle down. You'll find yourself in a few months talking slowly and not being so, you know.
Well, it just amazes me, you know. I mean, all these old values all of a sudden really work, you know.
Well, the advice is always easy to give. You know, communication. You must have tolerance and understanding.
Yeah.
Those are all nice things. But sometimes it gets to the point where your tolerance gets a little thin and your patience gets just a little hairy. And then it's, you want to go to the moon. You're back to Jackie Gleason. You're going to the moon, Alice. Wow. Now, I know you're not supposed to do that, but there are times. Now, there's nothing wrong with arguing either, you see. But
oh, no, you got to argue.
You must have a fight occasionally. I don't mean a fight with lethal weapons.
No chainmail.
No, I don't mean that kind of a fight or hitting, but I mean you must have verbal exchanges once in a while, because if you don't, you store it away in there.
Yeah,
and then it can take the littlest thing and then set one off. Like, where have you been? Where have you been? Excuse me, I just knocked my watch off there. I don't know why I'm giving you this advice. It's not worked well for me. I'm being realistic. So you're still in that honeymoon stage where everything, hey, you know.
Yeah, but it's spreading out to the rest of my life. I'm back to simple values. I'm subscribing to the Whole Earth catalog. I've decided this is it. Enough's enough. I want to buy a tent, live out in the woods. That's it. The simple values of life. You know all the stuff that's been going on.
I can see my wife in a tent out in the woods.
I think I saw her in a tent. No.
Can you see Joanna in a tent out in the woods?
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
With a Cuisinart and a little generator in the back.
Red and green striped tent sitting out there with a... Now, I'm gonna pay for that. I know I'm gonna pay for that when I go home. See, my wife has a good sense of humor. She knows I'm in the humor game. And things that I say here, she will say, I know you did that to get a laugh, and you mean nothing against me personally, and it's gonna cost.
That's not what she just said in the green room, actually. She had quite a different view of things, you know?
What do you do if you get angry? Do you just walk away?
Because I'm an actor and because emotion is my game.
That's right.
And because I tend to get a lot of words into a little space.
Yes, you do.
Because you only ever give me one segment, so I've become, you know...
It's the same thing tonight, so get them all in there.
I get practice. I just sort of say a lot of things that you can't say on TV, so there's no point in telling you anything about this. And then she says them all back and then punches me. At which point I kind of... And she punches me hard. I have this whole theory about getting bone cancer if you get punched in the same space all the time. Of course. You know? And then that sort of sobers me right up, and you start to think again, you know? You start to think when you get married somehow, because you got somebody else to think for, you know?
That's right.
And also you get it back to you, and you say something before you used to say it to yourself, and there was nobody to correct you.
And then they'll say it back to you.
Yeah, and then they say it back to you, you go, but that sounds ridiculous. She said, well, that's what you just said, so, you know, straighten up and fly right, kid.
It seems like it's working out very well so far. Have you had a fight yet, McLean?
Well, we had a fight.
No, I don't mean you two.
No.
I mean...
Not a good one. I have not met my in-laws. And,
you haven't met your in-laws yet?
Well, no, I have always contended that a man without a mother-in-law is like a polar bear without a set of golf clubs.
I've got to do a commercial here. I'll do this. We'll be right back to Newlyweds. My next guest is one of the... I'm glad he's here tonight, Bum Phillips. He's one of the most outstanding and colorful coaches that the NFL has had in years, and Bum Phillips did a remarkable job the past 3 years for the Houston Oilers. He brought the team into playoffs 3 times, and his dismissal last week came as quite a shock to everybody. But I understand he's got some plans for the future. Would you welcome Bum Phillips? New Orleans, right. Good to see you. Now, before we start talking, Bum, we had Craig Roberts, a sportscaster, I guess, from our NBC affiliate in Houston, called this afternoon, the station, saying that Mrs. Phillips, your wife, had called him and would like Bum to call home because she doesn't know when he's arriving in Los Angeles, where he's staying, or when he's leaving.
I usually take her with me because she's too ugly to kiss goodbye.
You're gonna get canned twice in 1 week if you keep that up. Your wife has got a sense of humor, obviously.
Yeah, she does. She puts up with me.
Yeah,
that guy there talks faster than I can listen.
What? You know, being a coach, whether it's professional or in collegiate sports, has got to be a very hairy job. Because you did a remarkable job with a ball club, brought them to playoffs 3 times, and all of a sudden, they say you're out. Now,
they meant it, too.
Yeah, I guess they did. Did that come as a surprise to you?
More of a shock than a surprise. I thought I was going down there to renegotiate.
Yeah.
It didn't work out that way, but you know that's life. That's the owner's prerogative, and I'm not bitter about it. I'm a little upset about the way they did it, but not the fact that they did it, because that's their right. I don't care.
That happens in all professional activities.
Sure.
But I guess they feel that if you're not a winner all the time, but everybody can't be a winner every year. There have to be somebody who comes in second or not make the playoffs.
There's just 2 kinds of coaches.
Yeah.
That's them that's been fired and them that's going to get fired. And I've been both.
Yeah, I suppose during the season you never know exactly where you stand, right?
Not unless you're on top.
Yeah, unless you're on top all the time.
Top.
No, you did a remarkable job with the club, though.
We were pleased with them.
They had some really sensational games. Have you made any plans yet? I read in the sports pages today that there was rumors you might be going to the Saints or talking with them.
I talked with John, and you know, obviously I would like to have the job, but obviously he's the owner.
Sure.
And you got to go through the owner. And we've had a lot of conversation about it, and I think we can get together, but it remains to be seen. They've still got some more candidates they're going to interview for the job. And
is it more of a challenge for a coach to go in and take a team that has not done well? I mean, every coach would like to go in and take a team that, is right on top. But to rebuild a team would be a challenge, I would think, for a coach.
Yeah, that's why I think Don Shula is probably the best football coach that I know of.
Yeah.
He took Baltimore coach and won with them, then he went to Miami and he won with them. So we won this year and last year and the year before. I'd like to have the challenge of trying to make it with another team. I'd like to see if I can prove it twice.
There's a lot of controversy about should they have instant replay. The fans at home sometimes get a better look at a play than the people there at the game because they shoot it from 3 or 4 angles. Sometimes they play it so many times that they should stop.
Yeah.
And you will see calls. I think all in all the officials do a fairly remarkable job.
I do too.
Of making the good calls.
Yeah, I don't.
And wouldn't the instant replay slow the game down? Everybody could say on every call.
Probably.
Let's play that again, and it would consume.
The problem with it is if you had the shot showing the guy going out of bounds, whether his feet was in or out was immaterial, but over when the play started, you'd have a guy holding.
Right.
Now, do you call this one and call it back, or do you go back and penalize them for holding that you didn't see, the officials didn't call?
Right.
There's a lot of problems with instant replay, but, if it helped me win a game, I'd vote for it.
Yeah. Anything, huh?
Yeah.
Somebody said that your mother gets upset if she thinks you're using bad language out there. I guess one never gets away from his mother, right? Does she get upset if she thinks you're being a little abrasive?
Yeah, I made a little statement in the Dome last year that she didn't approve of and told me about it.
I remember that. They had that on...
I just thought it was a good thing to say, Hell, there's 70,000 people there. They wanted to hear something positive. They didn't want to hear say we're going to try harder, so
you said
I told them we're going to kick the door in.
And you called the door very specific terms, what kind of a door it was, right?
Yeah.
And you heard from Mom, huh?
Oh, yeah. Immediately.
I was reading a small book of things you've said before, and you said something about one of the toughest jobs of being a coach was telling a player that he was cut or was no longer going to make the team, or his skills had diminished, and you had to let him go. That must be tough.
Yeah, because you're not only cutting a player, you're cutting his wife and his family, his kids, and everything. You're cutting his whole life out, and that's what makes it so doggone difficult.
Right.
And that's why I felt like it was so important that when it come my time to get cut, that I take it the same way I expect a player to take it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good philosophy. It's a tough business here, man. It's a tough business. You must have an understanding wife because you travel a lot, and when you're coaching a professional team, or even college, I guess, you spend tremendous amount of hours away from home, watching game films and so forth. Is she pretty understanding on that score?
Yeah.
You like which one? Does she travel with you when you go out?
No, she doesn't travel with us a whole lot because it's so much business. You get to a town, and by the time you get there, you got a meeting plan, you got to practice, and then you come back and you have a supper, and then you have a team meeting, and then it's bed check, and then you get up the next morning, and it's chapel service, and first thing you know, you're playing again, and it's just not really a good opportunity for a woman to travel around and be with her husband. So if she can just go sit in the hotel room, she like that, well, it'd be a hell of a trip.
Right. It's always picky, right? They want to go out and have fun. Don't want to sit in that room. You've told this story so many times, but how did the term bum come about? That's not your real name, of course.
No.
It's kind of a strange name.
O-A-I-L. If you can pronounce it, you have it.
Oil?
Oil. Like I had a W.
Chào các mọi người. Và hôm nay bên em lại về một chiếc xe Hyundai Tucson sản xuất 2018 bản đặc biệt 2.0 ATH. Chiếc xe phiên bản màu đen và đã bị bơi nội đấy, cách đây 6 tháng trước. Thì đương nhiên sẽ có một mức giá rất là ok rồi. Tuy nhiên là trước khi báo giá thì em sẽ quay tổng thể chiếc xe. Bên em là chuyên mua bán các dòng xe nỗi. Còn nếu mà em quay hộ ai thì salon nào mà uy tín thì em sẽ nói thẳng luôn. Còn xe này thì bị tham gia bơi nội một chút. Tucson là một trong những dòng xe SUV, nó có thể là cạnh tranh trực tiếp với CR-V hoặc là những cái dòng xe gầm cao khác. Tuy nhiên nó bán rất là chạy, bởi vì giá cả rất là phải chăng. Con này thì giá rất là phải chăng luôn khi bị bơi nội. Tuy nhiên là bên em đã khắc phục hết các lỗi rồi, và chúng ta chỉ việc mua về là đi thôi. Thì con xe này thì cũng nó gần như nó không bị va chạm đụng đụng gì, mà nó chỉ bơi nội thôi. Các bạn nhìn thấy sơn xi rất là đẹp, lốp la răng rất là mới, đèn thì cũng rất là sáng đấy. Đèn bi kết hợp với giải đèn nét đấy, mặt ca năng thì mạ chrome, biểu tượng Hyundai đấy. Nói chung là Tucson thì đi, nói chung là SUV thì nói chung là giá cả rất là phải chăng, xếp top bán doanh thu hàng tháng. Vì vậy nói chung nhìn các bạn nhìn này, la răng rất là chất, tay nắm cửa mạ chrome, các bạn nhìn thấy sao? Mọi thứ của em nó nhìn rất là hoàn hảo. Thật sự nếu mà không nói thì chắc là đấy, không ai biết xe này bị thế nào đâu mọi người nhé. Đấy, đèn hậu rất là đẹp, thiết kế rất là trẻ trung. Tuy nhiên không trẻ trung bằng cái đời mới bây giờ. Tucson 2022 khác biệt, rất là đẳng cấp. Nhưng mà tuy nhiên giá cũng khá là cao. Đời Tucson đời mới ấy. Đấy. Nói chung là xe thì các bạn nhìn thấy rất là chất rồi, đúng không? Nội thất bên trong thì vô lăng thì đã bọc da ghế múi đấy, cần số, phanh tay điện tử. Tổng thể chiếc xe rất là ok, nội thất bên trong rất là ok đấy. Nói chung là nội thất cũng đã được dọn rất là gọn gàng rồi. Tuy bơi nội nhưng mà đã gần như là đã fix hết nỗi, cũng như là đã xịt mùi, chứ không còn cái mùi ẩm mốc đâu mọi người nhé. Đấy. Và nói chung là mua những chiếc xe này thì giá nó rẻ hơn vài trăm, rất là thích. Con này nếu mà xe ngon thì chắc tầm trên 700, gần 800. Đấy. Còn con này khi mà bị bơi lội rồi thì chắc chắn là giá nó sẽ rất là rẻ rồi. Không ai tự nhiên lại đi mua một con xe lỗi mà với một mức giá cao được. Đấy. Và em thì bán không phải bán giá rẻ, mà bán giá nó phù hợp với lỗi của xe. Đấy. Ví dụ đâm đụng vào chassis bung túi khí thì đương nhiên là giá rẻ rồi, hay là bơi nội, hay là nói chung là nó có nhiều lỗi lắm. Mỗi lỗi thì chúng ta trừ đi tiền, tuy nhiên là mỗi lỗi khác nhau thì trừ tiền khác nhau. Đấy. Cái con xe này thì nếu mà nói thì nói chung là còn đẹp, xử lý gọn gàng rồi. Và em báo giá cho mọi người, chiếc xe này đã được báo giá là 499 triệu. Đấy, bớt cho các bạn 1 triệu để các bạn di chuyển, đi lại. Cứ thuê tận thời đến check, kiểm tra máy móc, đi thử thoải mái. Sau đó mới sang tiền, bên em không nhận cọc trước. Đấy, bình thường là 500 triệu nhưng trừ 1 triệu, còn 499 triệu. Ai mua liên hệ sớm. Xin chào.